compound interest question, but we are told the amount at the end. So it's actually like a reverse compound interest question. Yeah, definitely stepping up from normal compound interest. Now, I would strongly advise we solve this by writing down an equation. And let's just think about this. If you had £1,200 and you put it in the bank for 2 years with an interest rate of 10%, then your multiplier, like 10% interest rate, would mean you've got 110% at the end, which is that's percent, which you then divide by 100 to get it as a decimal, and that gives you a multiplier of 1.1. If you do it for 2 years in a row, you would multiply by 1.1 twice, and you would square it, and then that would equal your final amount, which in this case we know. Now you could do this method through trial and error. You could sort of just try. It doesn't say you have to use an algebraic method, so you could literally go 1,200 times 1.1 squared, see if it works. No, that's too big. And you could try a number that was smaller, 1.05. Okay, it's going to be a bit more than that, and so on until you get there. However, I don't like that because you are showing understanding, I suppose, and you're showing you can figure it out, but it's actually going to take a little while to do. There's going to be a better way, and this better way is to do what I've just basically said, 1,200. But now I don't know what my multiplier is, so it says r%. I'm going to call my multiplier x squared, and that equals 1379.02. I've created an equation, and now I need to solve it for x. So I can rearrange it. I can divide by 1,200 to get my x squared. So 1379.02 divided by 1,200 equals 1.1491, and then x is going to be the square root of that. And this works really well. If I put it in for 5 years, this would be x to the 5, and I would take the 5th root and so on. So now I can take the square root of my answer, and I get 1.0719. Which is 107.19. Maybe I should just add another term, so another 9 after it. And that's going to mean my interest rate. So if I had a 1.1 as my multiplier, I would change that to 110%. I'd see my interest rate was 10%. Here, very similar, but it's going to be that R is 7.2% to one decimal place. So that works. If you went with the first method, you would stumble across that. I said that 1.05 was too small, so you might then try 1.06 squared, still too small, but you would eventually get to 1.07. It's just a bit of a trial and error method instead. So if you're not confident with your algebra, yeah, I do talk about this, because it is a way that you can do a question near the end of the paper without resorting to algebra. You can do this trial and error. But my advice for any kind of percentage problem is get into the habit of writing down formulae, because you'll remember, like if you can write this down, you remember that you have to sort of divide, and when you're doing reverse percentages, do you divide by the percentage? Do you multiply? If you know essentially that new equals old times multiplier, then you can deal with normal percentages, reverse percentages, and percentage change where you're asked for the multiplier essentially. We're doing the same thing here, but we're being asked, we know the multiplier squared, and we have to do the extra little bit about square rooting, but that's it. Anyway, that's how we dealt with it. I hope you're happy with that.